How often do you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts, pulled in 1,000 directions at once? Have you ever wondered why your mind sometimes feels like a runaway train, racing faster and faster, making it hard to focus? What if there was a way to stop this chaos and take back control? Imagine being able to steer your thoughts with the calm and clarity of a Zen master. Sounds impossible, right? But it's not. In our daily lives, it's easy to feel lost in the noise. Whether it's stress, worries about the future, or regrets from the past, our minds constantly shift, jump, and distract us. It's like trying to catch the wind in your hands. It seems out of reach. But what if we told you that the key to taking control of your mind is already within you? Buddhism teaches us that we have the power to master our minds, to create peace, and to live with purpose. But how? Let's take a simple example. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. If you shake it, the water inside becomes murky. But if you place the glass down and wait, the water settles. The same applies to our minds. When we stop, breathe, and let things settle, clarity emerges. So, how do we achieve this mental calm in a world that demands constant attention? Stick with us as we explore how to take control of your mind, step by step. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore the depths of our minds and the teachings that help us lead better lives. We'll be diving into the transformative insights of Buddhism, and I promise you, this journey will bring clarity, peace, and control back to your life. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of people subscribe. So, please, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Help us spread this wisdom to more minds in need. Stay tuned as we break down the steps to mastering your mind and unlocking a life of peace and purpose. Understanding the nature of thoughts. The mind is like a vast ocean. At times, it is calm, smooth, and serene, with the sun reflecting off the surface. But at other times, it can be rough and stormy, with waves crashing violently. Understanding the nature of thoughts is the first step in mastering this ocean. To tame the waves, we must first understand where they come from, why they rise, and how we can bring calm to the waters. Each thought that arises in the mind is like a wave that forms in the ocean. Some thoughts are big, some are small, but all of them come from the same source, the mind. Our thoughts are not something separate from us. They are an expression of our own mind. Just as a wave is made from the water in the ocean, our thoughts are made from the energy of our consciousness. We often think of thoughts as things we can control, but in truth, they come and go on their own. Some thoughts are fleeting, lasting only for a moment, while others seem to stick around, repeating themselves over and over. In Buddhism, we learn that thoughts are impermanent. They come and go, just like the waves on the ocean. They do not define us, and they do not have to control us. But what happens when we get caught in a wave of thoughts? We start to identify with them. We think, I am angry, I am sad, or I am worried. This identification is where we lose control. When we see our thoughts as part of ourselves, we become entangled in them, allowing them to shape our emotions and actions. This is the beginning of suffering. The first step in understanding the nature of thoughts is to realize that they are not permanent. They are like clouds passing through the sky. Just as clouds appear and disappear, thoughts arise and fade away. By observing our thoughts without judgment, we can begin to distance ourselves from them. We are not our thoughts. We are the observer of our thoughts. This is where true freedom lies. A key lesson in Buddhism is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of observing the present moment without attachment. When we practice mindfulness, we begin to notice our thoughts as they arise. Instead of getting swept away by them, we simply observe them, like watching clouds drifting across the sky. Over time, we learn that we do not need to react to every thought. We can let them come and go without being swept up in their currents. But how do we start? The first step is to become aware of our thoughts. We often go through our day without noticing what is happening in our minds. We are caught up in the flow of our thoughts, reacting to them automatically. To break this habit, we must cultivate awareness. Start by paying attention to your thoughts, especially when you feel a strong emotion arise. Notice the thoughts that come before the emotion. Are you angry because of something someone said? Are you worried about something that might happen? By catching the thought before it turns into an emotion, we take the first step in gaining control. It is important to remember that not all thoughts are negative. In fact, many thoughts are neutral or positive. The key is not to judge our thoughts as good or bad, but to observe them without attachment. When we label a thought as bad, we add more fuel to the fire. The more we resist a thought, the more it persists. Instead, let the thought arise and pass away without judgment. Over time, this practice of non-attachment helps us create space between ourselves and our thoughts. As we continue to practice mindfulness, we begin to see that our thoughts are like waves that rise and fall. Some are powerful, some are gentle, but none of them last forever. The more we observe them without getting caught up in them, the more we create a sense of calm in our minds. We begin to realize that we are not controlled by our thoughts. We are the master of our thoughts. This understanding is crucial in Buddhism. We learn that the mind is not a thing to be conquered, but a tool to be understood and used wisely. Just as a skilled sailor navigates the ocean, we can navigate our minds. By understanding the nature of thoughts, we learn to ride the waves instead of being thrown about by them. In our daily lives, we may face many challenges that stir the waves of our minds. A stressful work situation, a difficult conversation, or an unexpected event can all cause our thoughts to whirl. But when we understand the nature of thoughts, we can remain calm in the midst of the storm. We can observe our thoughts without becoming overwhelmed by them. This is the path to mental mastery. The Buddha taught that the mind is like a garden. If we plant seeds of wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness, we cultivate a peaceful and harmonious mind. But if we allow negative thoughts to take root, they can grow into weeds that take over the garden. By understanding the nature of our thoughts, we can tend to our minds with care and wisdom, creating a peaceful inner environment. In conclusion, understanding the nature of thoughts is the foundation of taking control of the mind. Thoughts are impermanent, and by observing them without attachment, we create space between ourselves and our thoughts. This practice of mindfulness allows us to navigate the waves of the mind with calm and clarity. As we continue on this path, we learn to become the master of our minds, not the servant of our thoughts. Through mindfulness and awareness, we learn that our minds do not control us. We control our minds. This realization is the beginning of true freedom. It is the first step toward taking control of your mind and living a life of peace, purpose, and wisdom. The power of mindfulness. We begin with a simple truth. Our minds are like wild rivers, rushing toward a destination that we may not always choose. But if we stand still for a moment and focus, we can observe the flow. This is what mindfulness teaches us, to step back and truly see the water for what it is, without getting swept away by it. Mindfulness is not something we need to search for. It is already here, within us, waiting to be recognized. The moment you bring your attention to the present, you step into mindfulness. But it's not just about being aware of what is happening right now. It's about truly experiencing it, without judgment or distraction. Imagine you are drinking a cup of tea. If you are fully present, the aroma, the warmth, the taste, all become rich with meaning. You are no longer just drinking a cup of tea. You are experiencing it with every part of yourself. This is mindfulness. Not just seeing the moment, but fully embracing it. The challenge is not in the practice itself, but in making it a part of everyday life. In the hustle and bustle, it's easy to forget to pause and take a breath. But mindfulness can be cultivated, even in the busiest moments. You don't need to be on a mountaintop to practice mindfulness. It can happen while washing dishes, walking, or even during a conversation. It's about being aware of your surroundings, your thoughts, and your feelings, without rushing or reacting to them. We often find ourselves lost in thoughts about the past or the future. What did I do wrong yesterday? What if I fail tomorrow? These worries distract us from the present moment, making us miss the peace that is always available. But mindfulness is the art of catching ourselves when we wander and gently bringing our focus back to the now. It's like taking a breath and pausing in the middle of a busy day, just to feel alive and present. In Buddhism, mindfulness is often called right attention. It's the practice of seeing the world clearly, without the lens of fear, desire, or judgment. When we see things as they truly are, without the mental noise of our opinions and projections, we can experience the peace that is always there. Imagine being able to look at a stressful situation and not react with anxiety, but instead simply observe it. Mindfulness allows us to respond with clarity, rather than reacting out of habit or fear. Being mindful doesn't mean blocking out thoughts or ignoring them. It's about seeing thoughts for what they are, just thoughts. They are not facts. They are not permanent. They come and go, like clouds passing through the sky. When you begin to see your thoughts in this way, you stop identifying with them. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This realization is liberating. You no longer need to be controlled by what your mind presents to you. There is a powerful analogy in Buddhism, the monkey mind. It is the image of a monkey jumping from branch to branch, never stopping, never being still. Our minds can be like this, constantly jumping from one thought to the next, rarely pausing. But through mindfulness, we can train the monkey mind to sit still. The more we practice, the quieter the mind becomes. And the quieter the mind, the more we can hear the wisdom that is always there, waiting for us. But mindfulness is not just about calming the mind. It's also about opening up to the richness of life. When we pay attention to each moment, we begin to notice the small things. The way sunlight filters through a window, the sound of birds chirping, the way our bodies feel as we breathe. These moments are full of beauty, yet we often miss them because we are too busy thinking about something else. Through mindfulness, we learn to honor the present moment. We learn that every moment has value, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Every breath, every step, every word we speak is an opportunity to be present, to be mindful, and to live in harmony with the world around us. At first, mindfulness may feel difficult. Our minds are so used to being scattered and distracted, but with patience and practice, we begin to notice the benefits. We start to feel less anxious, less stressed, and more connected to our true selves. The more we practice, the more natural it becomes. It's like a muscle that strengthens with regular use. The power of mindfulness lies in its simplicity. You don't need special equipment, a quiet room, or even a lot of time. All you need is the willingness to be present. Even in the chaos, you can find stillness. Even in the noise, you can find peace. And remember, mindfulness is not a destination. It's a journey. There is no perfect way to practice mindfulness, no right or wrong way. It's about being open, being patient with yourself, and learning to embrace each moment as it comes. So, how can you begin? Start small. Pick one task today, whether it's eating, walking, or talking, and commit to doing it with full attention. Don't worry about doing it perfectly. Just bring your awareness to the moment and see what happens. Over time, mindfulness will grow into a natural part of your life. By incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine, you'll begin to experience greater clarity, peace, and control. It won't happen overnight, but with dedication, the rewards will be worth it. So take a deep breath, and remember that the power to control your mind is already in your hands. Through mindfulness, you can guide the flow of your thoughts and live with the calm of a peaceful river. Overcoming mental clutter. In the quiet of the early morning, you may notice how calm the world feels. The sun has not yet risen, and the sounds of life have not yet filled the air. Your mind, in this stillness, is like a calm lake. But then, as the day begins, the noise starts. The demands, the worries, the to-do lists, and your mind begins to churn. The stillness is replaced by a whirlwind of thoughts, all clamoring for attention. Have you ever felt that way? That constant rush of thoughts that fills your mind, making it hard to think clearly or focus on what truly matters. This mental clutter, this storm of thoughts, is a part of everyday life. But if we are not careful, it can easily take control of us. Thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky, but when we cling to them, they can block the sunlight of clarity. The key to taking control of your mind is not to stop the thoughts from coming, but to let them flow through without getting caught up in them. Buddhism teaches us that our minds are like a garden. If we let weeds grow unchecked, they will take over and choke the beauty of the flowers. Similarly, if we let our minds become overwhelmed with unnecessary thoughts, they cloud our judgment and steal our peace. But, just like in a garden, we can choose to tend to our thoughts. We can choose to pull the weeds and make space for the flowers of clarity, calm, and wisdom. How do we begin this process of clearing mental clutter? The first step is awareness. We need to recognize that our minds are full of noise, that the clutter is there. Sometimes, we may not even notice it until it's too late, until we feel stressed, overwhelmed, or confused. But once we become aware of the clutter, we can begin to clean it out. Just like cleaning a room, we start by picking up the things that no longer serve us. These thoughts, worries, and distractions, are they truly necessary? Are they helpful? Or are they simply taking up space and preventing us from seeing clearly? The next step is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present in the moment. When we practice mindfulness, we observe our thoughts without judgment. Imagine sitting quietly, breathing in and out. You notice a thought arising, a worry about something in the future, or a regret from the past. Instead of holding on to that thought, you simply acknowledge it and let it go. Just like a leaf floating down a stream, you let the thought pass by without getting attached to it. By practicing mindfulness, we begin to clear away the clutter and create space for peace. Another important practice is meditation. Meditation helps to quiet the mind and brings us back to the present moment. When we sit in silence, focusing on our breath, we allow our thoughts to settle naturally. It's like stirring a pot of water. When we stop stirring, the water becomes still and clear. Meditation helps us return to that stillness, where mental clarity can emerge. But just like cleaning a room, meditation requires practice. At first, our minds may feel even more cluttered, but over time, with patience and consistency, we begin to notice the stillness returning. We begin to feel more grounded, more focused, and more at peace. But mental clutter is not just about the thoughts that race through our minds. It also comes from the way we live our lives. Our environment, our habits, and our relationships can all contribute to the noise in our minds. A cluttered desk, a disorganized living space, or a chaotic schedule, all of these can affect our mental state. When our outer world is cluttered, it can be hard to find peace within. That's why it's important to pay attention not only to our thoughts, but also to the world around us. By creating an environment that supports calm and clarity, we make it easier for our minds to follow suit. One way to reduce mental clutter in our lives is by simplifying. In Buddhism, simplicity is seen as a path to peace. The more we simplify our lives, our possessions, our commitments, our distractions, the more we make space for the things that truly matter. This might mean letting go of things we no longer need, reducing the number of tasks on our to-do list, or spending less time on activities that drain us. By focusing on what is essential, we free ourselves from the distractions that fill our minds and clutter our lives. Another practice that can help clear mental clutter is learning to say no. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with requests, invitations, and expectations. We feel pressured to do it all, to be everywhere, to please everyone. But this only adds to the clutter in our minds. By learning to say no to things that do not align with our true values or purpose, we create space for the things that matter most. It's not about being selfish, it's about being wise. When we say no, we are saying yes to our peace, our clarity, and our well-being. Sometimes, mental clutter comes from the way we speak to ourselves. The inner critic, the negative self-talk, the doubts and fears, they all add to the noise in our minds. But just as we can choose which thoughts to entertain, we can also choose how we speak to ourselves. Buddhism teaches us to practice loving kindness and compassion, both for ourselves and for others. By treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, we begin to quiet the harsh voices in our minds and replace them with words of encouragement and support. Finally, remember that clearing mental clutter is not a one-time task. It is an ongoing practice, just like gardening. There will always be new thoughts, new distractions, and new challenges that arise. But with patience, mindfulness, and consistency, we can continue to clear away the clutter and create space for peace and clarity. Every moment is an opportunity to reset, to begin again, and to take control of our minds. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed by the noise in your head, take a step back, breathe, recognize the clutter for what it is, temporary, fleeting, and not worth holding on to. With each breath, let it go, and in that space of stillness, you'll find the clarity and peace that has always been there, waiting for you. Taming the wild monkey mind. In the silence of the mountains, there is peace. But within your mind, the noise never stops. It jumps from thought to thought like a wild monkey, never resting. Today, we explore how to tame this restless mind. This monkey mind that constantly pulls you in different directions. The mind, much like the monkey, is constantly moving. Thoughts come and go without warning, darting from one thing to another. You may begin your day thinking about your work, only to quickly find yourself imagining something from your childhood, or worrying about a distant future event. This is natural. This is the way of the mind. But that does not mean it must rule you. The first step to taming the monkey mind is to acknowledge its presence. Many people spend their lives running from their thoughts, hoping they will disappear. But just as trying to catch a monkey makes it run faster, ignoring your thoughts only makes them more intense. Instead, face them. See the thoughts for what they are, fleeting and temporary. When you see them for what they are, they begin to lose their power. Start by observing your thoughts without judgment. Don't try to change them, just notice them. Watch them come and go like clouds in the sky. The more you observe, the less control they have over you. In Buddhism, we call this mindfulness, the practice of being aware of what is happening in the present moment without becoming attached to it. When you are mindful, the monkey mind starts to lose its grip on you. Imagine you are sitting beside a river. The water flows constantly, and it can seem overwhelming. But if you sit quietly, you will notice something amazing. The water doesn't need you to control it. It flows on its own. Similarly, your thoughts flow through your mind. Instead of fighting them, let them flow naturally. The more you resist, the more the monkey mind resists too. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools to calm the wild monkey mind. It's like training a monkey to sit still. At first, it will be restless. You may feel like your thoughts are racing in every direction, but with practice, the monkey will begin to calm down. In meditation, focus on your breath. Breathe in deeply and breathe out slowly. With each breath, you invite calmness into your mind. The more you practice, the more peaceful your mind becomes. There are many techniques to help tame the monkey mind. One is focusing on a single object or sound. This can be a mantra, a word or phrase you repeat silently. This repetition creates a sense of stability for the mind, like a weight on a scale that keeps it balanced. The monkey can no longer leap in every direction when its attention is focused on one thing. Another technique is visualizing your mind as a peaceful garden. Imagine a beautiful space with flowers and trees where you feel calm and safe. Every time a distracting thought arises, gently guide it to the edges of your garden, where it will fade away. Over time, this mental space becomes a place of peace, and the monkey mind begins to feel at home there. But let's not forget one of the most important aspects of taming the monkey mind: patience. You cannot tame the monkey in a single moment. Just as it takes time to train an animal, it takes time to train your mind. So, be kind to yourself. Every time your mind wanders, simply notice it and gently bring it back to the present moment. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. The monkey mind loves to dwell in the past and worry about the future. It loves to replay old memories, regrets, and mistakes. It imagines worst-case scenarios, predicting disaster around every corner. But this is all illusion. The past is gone, and the future is not yet here. The present moment is the only time that truly exists. When the monkey mind pulls you into the past or the future, gently remind yourself, this is not the moment. This moment is enough. A powerful way to focus your mind in the present is to bring your attention to your senses. What do you hear right now? What do you feel? What do you see? When you immerse yourself in the present, the monkey mind begins to quiet. It has no need to jump around when you are fully grounded in the now. The practice of gratitude can also help tame the wild monkey mind. When you focus on what you are grateful for, your mind shifts from anxiety and chaos to calm and contentment. It is as if the monkey finds a tree to rest in, satisfied with its place in the world. Every morning, take a moment to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This simple practice invites peace into your heart and mind. Sometimes, the monkey mind is driven by emotions: fear, anger, anxiety, or sadness. These feelings are like windstorms in the mind, pushing thoughts in every direction. In moments like these, it is important to observe the emotions without becoming lost in them. Recognize them for what they are, temporary states that will pass. Just like weather patterns, emotions come and go. By observing them with mindfulness, you give yourself the power to let them pass without letting them take over your life. Another helpful technique for calming the monkey mind is to engage in physical activities. Movement helps release built-up tension and allows the mind to settle. Take a walk in nature, do yoga, or even dance. The body and mind are deeply connected, and physical activity can help release the restlessness in your thoughts. The more you connect with your body, the more your mind will find peace. The monkey mind can also be tamed by cultivating a sense of compassion. When you show kindness to yourself and others, your mind becomes lighter. This kindness creates space for peace to grow. Rather than criticizing yourself for your wandering thoughts, treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend. When you feel peaceful within, the monkey mind quiets. Let us return to the image of the wild monkey. Over time, as you practice these techniques, the monkey begins to settle down. It may never be completely still, but it becomes more peaceful, more content in its resting place. Just like the monkey, your mind may always have a natural restlessness, but with patience and practice, you will find that you can live in harmony with it, guiding it gently rather than fighting it. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate all thoughts or to have a perfectly calm mind. That would be like expecting the monkey never to move. The goal is to cultivate awareness, to be present, and to find peace amidst the chaos. When you learn to guide the monkey mind with patience, mindfulness, and compassion, you will find that it becomes a powerful tool for your well-being. The wild monkey is not your enemy. It is part of you. And just like any part of you, it deserves love and understanding. Through practice, you can build a relationship with your thoughts, a relationship rooted in awareness and acceptance. As you walk this path, you will find that the more you tame the monkey mind, the more space you create for peace, wisdom, and clarity. Breaking free from negative patterns. Imagine a person walking down a familiar path, one they've walked so many times before. Every step feels automatic, as if the path has been carved out by their feet, and every turn is a repeat of the last. But what if this path is taking them somewhere they don't want to go anymore? The person may know they need a change, but the steps, the habits, the patterns, are hard to break. This is what many of us face with our thoughts and behaviors, a path that's well-worn but no longer serves us. In life, negative patterns often seem so deeply ingrained that they feel like an essential part of who we are. These patterns could be small habits like worrying about things we can't control, or they could be deeper emotional responses to stress, anger, or fear. But what we often don't realize is that these patterns don't define us. They are simply learned behaviors, and just like a worn-out path, they can be changed if we have the courage to step off them. One of the teachings of Buddhism is that our minds are like fields of fertile soil. Whatever we plant in them grows. If we constantly plant seeds of doubt, fear, or negativity, that's what will grow. But if we plant seeds of wisdom, compassion, and peace, our minds can flourish in ways we never imagined. It's up to us to be aware of what we're planting. The first step in breaking free from negative patterns is to become aware of them. This means taking a step back and observing our thoughts and actions without judgment. Notice the patterns that repeat themselves. Do you often find yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed"? These thoughts are patterns that can be changed, but only if we recognize them for what they are. Once we have awareness, the next step is mindfulness. This is the practice of staying present in the moment, fully aware of what's happening around us and within us. When negative thoughts arise, mindfulness allows us to notice them without being swept away by them. You might feel a wave of frustration or sadness, but instead of letting it control your actions, mindfulness lets you acknowledge the feeling, breathe through it, and let it go. It's like sitting beside a river, watching the leaves float by. You don't try to stop them. You simply observe, knowing that they will pass. Another powerful tool in breaking negative patterns is meditation. Meditation isn't just about quieting the mind. It's about training the mind to focus and redirect itself. It's like a muscle that needs regular exercise. When we meditate, we create space between our thoughts. This space allows us to observe what's happening in our minds without getting caught in the storm of emotions and thoughts. Over time, meditation strengthens our ability to respond to negative patterns with calm, rather than reacting automatically with frustration or fear. But what if you're caught in a cycle of negative behavior that seems almost impossible to change? For example, you might keep making the same mistakes in relationships or falling back into old habits of procrastination, despite your best efforts to stop. The Buddha teaches that all suffering is a result of attachment. We are attached to the patterns we know, even if they cause us pain. Breaking free requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to detach from the comfort of the familiar. Imagine you are holding onto a rope. The rope represents the negative patterns you've been holding onto for years. It feels familiar, even though it hurts. Letting go of the rope can seem terrifying because you don't know what lies ahead. But in order to break free, you must release it. This doesn't mean you stop trying or give up. It simply means that you stop clinging to what no longer serves you. Only then can you open yourself to new possibilities. One practice that can help with this detachment is self-compassion. When you make mistakes, rather than being harsh and judgmental toward yourself, treat yourself with kindness. Understand that breaking old patterns takes time, and it's okay to stumble along the way. The key is to keep going, to keep trying, to keep learning. Every step, even the mistakes, is part of the process. Sometimes, breaking free from negative patterns requires us to seek help. This might mean talking to a trusted friend, a teacher, or even a therapist. There's no shame in seeking guidance. In Buddhism, there is a concept known as Sangha, which refers to the community of practitioners who support each other in their journeys. Just as a single tree cannot grow in isolation, we too grow better when we are supported by others. Don't be afraid to reach out and share your struggles. You don't have to do this alone. Another crucial element in freeing ourselves from negative patterns is understanding impermanence. Everything in life, including our thoughts and habits, is temporary. The negative patterns that seem so powerful today can change, just as the seasons change. The Buddha taught that nothing is permanent. Our minds, too, are not fixed. They are malleable and capable of transformation. This understanding gives us hope. No matter how deeply entrenched a negative pattern seems, it can be changed if we are patient and persistent. One powerful story from Buddhist teachings illustrates this point. A young monk went to his teacher, frustrated and exhausted by the negative thoughts and behaviors that seemed to control his life. The teacher asked him to look at a patch of grass. Then he gently pulled out the grass and planted a new seed in its place. The grass grew back in time, but the new seed grew into something even more beautiful. The monk understood that the process of change, although sometimes slow, always leads to something better. By cultivating patience and understanding, we can begin to create a new path, one that is not defined by the old patterns that once controlled us. The more we practice awareness, mindfulness, and self-compassion, the easier it becomes to break free from the chains of negativity. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress. Each day is an opportunity to choose a new way, a new path, and a new mindset. Breaking free from negative patterns isn't something that happens overnight, but with consistent practice and the right mindset, it is possible. Like any journey, the first step is the hardest, but each step after that becomes easier. And when you reach the end, you'll find that the path you've created is not only free of negativity, but also full of peace, joy, and wisdom. Cultivating inner peace. Inner peace is like a calm lake, untouched by the storms of the outside world. But how do we create this peaceful space within ourselves? How can we stay calm, no matter what life throws at us? Let us begin by understanding that peace is not something you find outside, but something that grows from within. It is already there, waiting for you to notice. Imagine a tree standing tall, its roots deep in the earth. No matter how strong the wind blows, the tree does not lose its ground. In the same way, when your mind is deeply rooted in peace, the storms of life cannot shake you. To cultivate inner peace, you must first recognize that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go, like clouds in the sky. They are temporary. Your true self is like the vast sky, calm and infinite. But how do you get there? The first step is to become aware of your thoughts. Most of the time, we are unaware of what is going on in our minds. We let thoughts control us, but we never stop to question them. Buddhism teaches us that the key to peace is awareness. awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Start by observing your thoughts as if you are watching them from a distance. Don't try to change them, just observe. When you watch your thoughts without attachment, you realize that they are like waves on the surface of the ocean. They rise and fall, but beneath them, the ocean remains still and calm. You are like the ocean. The more you practice this awareness, the more you can return to your center. Another powerful tool to cultivate inner peace is mindfulness. Mindfulness means being fully present in the moment, without distraction or judgment. It means paying attention to what is happening right now, whether it is the sound of your breath or the feeling of the earth beneath your feet. When you are mindful, you stop living in the past or the future. You experience life as it is, without clinging to what has been or worrying about what might be. In this state of presence, peace naturally arises. But peace is not just about sitting in silence or meditating. It is about how you live each day. Every action, no matter how small, can be done mindfully. When you wash your hands, focus on the water, the soap, the motion of your hands. When you eat, savor each bite. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. By bringing mindfulness into your everyday actions, you begin to create a life that is peaceful, moment by moment. One of the most important aspects of cultivating inner peace is letting go. Letting go of anger, fear, resentment, and any negative emotions that weigh you down. These emotions are like heavy stones in your backpack. As long as you carry them, they will drain your energy and disturb your peace. Buddhism teaches that the more we hold on to these negative emotions, the more we suffer. When you forgive others and yourself, you release the burden. You free your mind and heart. Another powerful practice is to focus on gratitude. Gratitude is like sunshine for the soul. When you are grateful, you focus on the good, and peace follows. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the things you are grateful for, whether it's the warmth of the sun, a kind word from a friend, or simply the gift of being alive. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is wrong to what is right, and in doing so, it invites peace into your life. Sometimes, peace requires setting boundaries. Life can be overwhelming when we try to please everyone and take on too much. Saying no is not selfish, it is an act of self-care. By setting boundaries, you protect your energy and preserve your inner peace. Recognize that you cannot control everything, and it is okay to let go of things that drain you. When you learn to say no to things that disturb your peace, you create space for peace to grow. The environment around you also plays a role in your inner peace. Surround yourself with calmness, beauty, and positivity. Whether it's the people you spend time with, the music you listen to, or the spaces you inhabit, make sure they nurture your well-being. A cluttered, noisy, or negative environment can disturb your peace, just as a clean and harmonious space can help you find stillness. But cultivating peace doesn't mean avoiding challenges or difficult emotions. In fact, true inner peace is about facing life's challenges with equanimity. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is part of life, but suffering doesn't have to disturb our peace. When challenges arise, instead of resisting them, embrace them with an open heart. Know that difficulties are opportunities for growth. With each challenge, you can strengthen your peace and resilience. In times of stress, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this too shall pass. When you are rooted in inner peace, you can handle whatever comes your way. No situation, no matter how difficult, has the power to take away your peace unless you allow it. The key is to remain grounded in your true nature, the calmness that lies beneath the surface of your thoughts and emotions. Remember, peace is a practice. It is not something you achieve once and for all. It requires patience and consistent effort. Every day is an opportunity to deepen your peace, whether through meditation, mindfulness, or simply pausing to check in with yourself. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to stay calm, no matter what life brings. In the end, cultivating inner peace is about returning to your true self. It is about remembering that beneath the noise, the worries, and the distractions, there is a place of deep stillness within you. And when you return to this place, you will find that no matter what happens in the world around you, your peace remains undisturbed. The journey to inner peace may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. With each step, you grow stronger, calmer, and more centered. And as you cultivate peace within yourself, You create a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. Inner peace is not just for you. It is a gift to the world. So, take a deep breath, let go of what no longer serves you, and make room for peace to flourish. You have the power to create the calm, centered life you deserve. The role of meditation in mental control. In the busy world around us, we constantly seek something to calm the storm within our minds. We may look for peace in external things, new experiences, achievements, or even distractions. But true peace, the kind that lasts and provides clarity, lies not outside, but deep within us. It is through meditation that we can unlock the profound power of the mind. Imagine, if you will, the mind as a turbulent ocean. Waves of thoughts rise and crash, driven by the winds of emotions and circumstances. Now, picture that same ocean when the winds die down, calm, clear, and still. The water reflects the sky above, perfectly serene. Meditation is the stillness in the ocean of the mind. Through meditation, you can stop the turbulence, clear the waves, and find the peace that lies beneath. Meditation is not about emptying your mind. It's about observing it. It's about sitting with your thoughts, not pushing them away, but letting them come and go like clouds in the sky. When you meditate, you are not trying to force your thoughts to disappear. Rather, you're learning to watch them without attachment. The thoughts may still come, but you no longer let them control you. You simply witness them, like a passerby observing the world without getting caught up in it. Many believe that meditation is a difficult practice, reserved for monks or spiritual masters. But that is far from the truth. Anyone, no matter their background, can practice meditation. It begins with simply sitting down, closing your eyes, and becoming aware of your breath. Focus on the rhythm of your inhale and exhale. Feel the air entering your lungs, then leaving. At first, your mind may wander. You may think of all the things you have to do, the worries of the day, or the regrets of the past. But as you practice, you begin to notice something remarkable. You have the power to return your focus to the present moment. Every time your mind drifts, gently guide it back to your breath. This is the beginning of mental control. In Buddhism, this practice of mindfulness is the cornerstone of meditation. Mindfulness means paying full attention to the present moment, without judgment. It's about being aware of what's happening right now, without labeling it as good or bad. When we are mindful, we stop the cycle of reacting to our thoughts and emotions. We stop the autopilot of our mind that constantly drives us toward attachment and aversion. Instead, we begin to see things as they are, without distortion, without the noise of unnecessary thoughts. Through mindfulness, meditation becomes a tool not just for calm, but for understanding. As you sit in meditation, you begin to see the patterns of your mind, the habits of thinking that create suffering. You notice the thoughts that lead to worry, fear, anger, and regret. These thoughts are like weeds in a garden. If you don't pull them out, they continue to grow, taking over the space of your mind. But with the practice of meditation, you can uproot these weeds, clearing the mind for the seeds of peace and wisdom to grow. The benefits of meditation go beyond just mental calm. Meditation teaches us to be more compassionate and present in our daily lives. As we cultivate awareness in meditation, we start to carry that awareness into our interactions with others. We listen more deeply. We respond more thoughtfully. We become less reactive and more mindful of how we treat the world around us. When we meditate, we also practice detachment. Detachment does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop clinging. We stop holding on to things as if they define us. Whether it's a particular thought, an emotion, or an outcome, we begin to realize that nothing in life is permanent. Everything is transient, including our thoughts and emotions. By understanding this, we can learn not to get caught in them. They are like clouds, sometimes dark and heavy, sometimes light and fluffy, but always passing by. Meditation also helps us face pain and discomfort with a different perspective. In the stillness of meditation, we come face to face with our fears, anxieties, and past wounds. Instead of running from these feelings or numbing ourselves with distractions, we sit with them. We observe them without judgment. Over time, this practice of sitting with discomfort teaches us resilience. We realize that we are not our thoughts, nor are we our emotions. We are the awareness behind them, watching them come and go like waves on the shore. As you continue to meditate, you may start to notice subtle changes in your life. You may find that you react less to stressful situations. You may experience moments of deep peace in the midst of chaos. Your relationships may improve as you learn to listen without judgment. The constant chatter of your mind begins to quiet, and in that silence, you hear the wisdom of your own heart. But meditation is not a one-time fix. It is a lifelong journey. Each session builds upon the last, gradually deepening your awareness and understanding of yourself. Some days, meditation may feel easy, and other days, it may feel difficult. But the key is consistency. Like any skill, meditation improves with practice. Even if you only meditate for a few minutes each day, you will begin to notice the benefits over time. So, how can meditation help you take control of your mind? It gives you the ability to respond, rather than react, to your thoughts and emotions. It allows you to create space between your inner world and the external world, so that you can act from a place of clarity and peace, rather than from a place of fear or impulse. Through meditation, you learn to see yourself not as a victim of your thoughts, but as the master of them. In the tradition of Buddhism, meditation is not just a practice, it is a way of life. It teaches us to live fully in the present moment, to cultivate compassion and awareness, and to let go of attachments that bind us to suffering. As you continue to meditate, remember that you are not just sitting in silence. You are transforming your mind, one breath at a time. The journey of meditation is one of gradual unfolding. It may not be easy, and there will be days when you feel like giving up. But know this: the more you practice, the more you will understand your mind, and the more you will experience the freedom that comes with mental control. Keep sitting, keep breathing, and let the stillness guide you to the wisdom within. The path of self-discipline. Self-discipline. It is the foundation of all great achievements, yet so often misunderstood. Many think discipline is about restriction, about forcing yourself to do what you dislike. But true self-discipline is not about punishment, it is about freedom. Yes, freedom. For a person who lacks discipline is a slave to their desires, their distractions, their fleeting emotions. But one who masters discipline walks the path of true liberation. Let us begin by asking, why is self-discipline so difficult? The answer lies in the nature of the mind itself. The mind craves comfort, it seeks pleasure, and it avoids pain. This is why we procrastinate, why we choose fleeting pleasures over lasting growth. The untrained mind, like an untamed horse, runs wild in all directions. It chases after momentary satisfaction, never realizing it is running farther away from peace and purpose. Buddhism teaches us that discipline begins with awareness. You cannot control what you do not understand. Imagine a candle in a dark room. The light of the candle allows you to see clearly, to recognize what is before you. In the same way, the light of mindfulness allows you to see the patterns of your mind. Are you reaching for that distraction out of habit or necessity? Are you avoiding a challenge because it feels uncomfortable, or because it truly does not serve you? Discipline, my friend, is not a battle with yourself. It is an act of compassion for yourself. Think of a gardener who tends to a young tree. They do not let it grow wildly, for it would become weak and tangled. Instead, they prune it gently, guiding its growth so it may stand tall and strong. In the same way, self-discipline is the art of guiding yourself, moment by moment, toward the life you wish to create. But how do we begin? The first step is clarity. Ask yourself, what truly matters to you? What do you wish to accomplish, to become, to feel? Without a clear direction, discipline feels aimless. It becomes a chore. But when you know your purpose, discipline becomes an ally, a bridge to your goals. Write down your purpose. Reflect on it daily. Let it guide your actions like a lighthouse in the storm. Next, simplify your path. Do not overwhelm yourself with 100 rules or goals. Start small. In Buddhism, there is a saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Focus on one habit, one area of growth, and commit to it fully. Perhaps it is meditating for 5 minutes each morning, or setting aside time to read and learn. Whatever it is, make it a priority. And here is a secret. Discipline thrives on routine. The mind loves patterns. When you create a routine, You remove the need to decide each day. You eliminate the mental resistance that often stops us. For example, if you commit to meditating every morning at the same time, it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Over time, it becomes effortless. Now, let us talk about obstacles, for they will surely come. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, or overwhelmed. On such days, remember this: discipline does not mean perfection. It means persistence. If you stumble, do not judge yourself harshly. Simply rise and return to your path. The practice is not in never falling. It is in always rising. Buddhism also teaches the importance of self-compassion. Discipline without kindness becomes rigid and harsh. Do not punish yourself for your mistakes. Instead, learn from them. Treat yourself as you would a dear friend, encouraging and supporting them to do better. Remember, the goal is not to become perfect. It is to grow, step by step. Another key to self-discipline is detachment. Do not cling to results. Focus on the process. When you are too attached to an outcome, you become anxious and frustrated. But when you pour your energy into the present moment, into the task itself, you find joy in the effort. Whether you succeed or fail matters less, for the act of trying itself becomes fulfilling. Let us also not forget the power of gratitude. As you walk the path of discipline, take moments to appreciate your progress. Celebrate the small victories. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your growth. Gratitude nourishes the spirit and keeps you motivated. Lastly, surround yourself with inspiration. Read the teachings of great masters. Spend time with those who uplift and encourage you. Your environment shapes your mind more than you realize. When you are surrounded by wisdom and positivity, discipline becomes easier, almost natural. Self-discipline is not a burden. It is a gift you give yourself. It is the key that unlocks the door to your fullest potential. Every act of discipline, no matter how small, strengthens you. It sharpens your focus, builds your character, and brings you closer to the life you wish to live. So, take that first step. Begin where you are, with what you have. Be patient with yourself, and trust the process. The path of self-discipline may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. For as you walk this path, you will discover not only control over your mind, but also a deep sense of freedom and peace within. This is the way of the disciplined mind. This is the way to take control of your life. Step by step, moment by moment, you are transforming. Stay with this journey, and you will see the changes unfold. The ultimate state of mental mastery. Ah, dear seeker, you have walked a long path to reach this point. Step by step, you have learned how to calm your restless mind, overcome its traps, and find clarity amidst the noise of life. And now, we arrive at the final lesson, the ultimate state of mental mastery. What does it mean to truly master your mind? How does it feel to live in harmony with your thoughts, unshaken by life's storms? Let us explore together. To master the mind is not to silence it entirely. No, the mind will always think. It is its nature. But mastery lies in your relationship with those thoughts. When your mind is your ally, not your master, you are free. Think of it like a river. You cannot stop the water from flowing, but you can guide its direction. You can learn to flow with it, not fight against it. But first, ask yourself this. What binds your mind? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it the endless pursuit of things that never truly satisfy? Most people are prisoners of their own desires and emotions, chasing after fleeting pleasures or running from imagined dangers. A mind trapped in these patterns is like a bird in a cage. It can flap its wings, but it cannot soar. Mental mastery is setting that bird free. Buddhism teaches us that freedom begins with awareness. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and let it out slowly. Feel the stillness within you. This is where mastery begins, not in controlling the world outside, but in understanding the world inside. When you know your mind, you can guide it. When you guide it, you can master it. One of the greatest teachings of the Buddha is the concept of detachment. Do not misunderstand this. It does not mean indifference or lack of care. Detachment means releasing your tight grip on things that you cannot control. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze it tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it remains. The same is true of life. When you stop clinging to outcomes, your mind finds peace. Now, let us speak of compassion, for it is the heart of mental mastery. When you cultivate compassion, for yourself and for others, your mind becomes light, unburdened by judgment or resentment. A compassionate mind is like a clear sky after a storm. It sees the world as it is, without distortion. Begin by forgiving yourself for your mistakes. Then extend that same forgiveness to those who have wronged you. This is not for their benefit, but for your own freedom. Meditation is the key that unlocks this ultimate state. It is not a ritual, nor a chore, but a way of life. Even 5 minutes a day can transform your mind. Sit quietly. Focus on your breath. When thoughts arise, do not push them away or chase them. Simply observe them, like clouds passing in the sky. With time, you will see that you are not your thoughts. You are the sky, vast and unchanging, while your thoughts are the clouds, temporary and fleeting. Let us not forget gratitude, for it is a powerful force. A grateful mind is a content mind. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the blessings in your life. They may be small, a kind word, a warm meal, a moment of peace, but they are treasures nonetheless. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is abundant, and in doing so, it transforms your entire perspective. Now, let me leave you with a final metaphor. Picture a candle in a dark room. At first, the room seems overwhelming in its darkness. But when you light the candle, the darkness fades. The candle does not fight the darkness, it simply shines. This is the essence of mental mastery, not to battle the challenges of life, but to illuminate them with the light of wisdom, peace, and compassion. Ah, my dear seeker, you have reached the end of this journey, but it is also a beginning. The teachings you have learned here are not just words to remember. They are tools to live by. Each day is an opportunity to practice. Each moment is a chance to choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, love over fear. The path of mastery is not a destination but a lifelong journey. As we close, let me remind you, there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers subscribe. If this journey has inspired you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Let us continue to share these teachings, to guide more seekers like you on the path to peace and mastery. Go forth now with a calm mind and an open heart. Remember, the power to master your mind lies within you. It always has. May your journey be filled with light, wisdom, and boundless peace.